Hi, my dear friends. I'm here to record a video about Donald Trump becoming president of the United States for the second time. This is going to be a video of a stretched hand, of the offer of solidarity to those who will be inevitably very deeply, very negatively affected by this unfortunate event. Where to even start? First, I cannot really believe how that happened. It was really a huge blow to about everybody who even thought about the future of the United States and the world in general. Donald Trump was coming and solidifying power around himself for all this time, right? And in 2022, when Joe Biden became president, it appeared that this danger, the danger of the authoritarianism in the United States, was successfully reverted. It was avoided. It was pushed away, and that the main danger passed. However, it turned out that no, all this time, all these 4 years while Joe Biden was president, Donald Trump continued solidifying support around him. His supporters continued to propagandize him and his policies. The people who were in places in various structures continued their work. And now we have Donald Trump as president of the United States yet again, even though people already knew how it will go after the first time Donald Trump was president, right? And my understanding is that people's memory is very short. It's literally a goopy kind of memory. Because if you do remember the first term of President Donald Trump in the United States, then you do remember the forced separation of families at the border. You do remember the significant wrecking of the national debt and how bad the economy was at the time. You do remember that constant barrage of statements by Donald Trump that were offensive to every thinking person out there. You do remember how normalized misogyny and racism became. You did see how all the spaces were transformed miraculously. I was in 2016 when Donald Trump became president for the first time. I was working as a teaching assistant at the University of Texas at Austin for some anthropological courses. And I noticed immediately how the student body, which used to be international and that included all possible diversity, how it shrank at the blink of an eye, and how we just had one foreign person at that year. The subsequent enrollment, one foreigner in the class, and that foreigner was from Italy. Like, what are we doing? What is this? You forgot the January 6th? You forgot this mob storming the Capitol? You forgot how Donald Trump was encouraging all that, how he was bolstering this assault on American democracy? And now Donald Trump is elected He won the popular vote. He had a huge mandate to enact whatever policies he pleases. And we all understand what these policies are. There is this project 2025. I don't know if you read that project. I read the introduction to the foundational book of this project, the manifesto, and it struck me by its dark conspiratorial tone. It literally said something like, we are besieged by the enemies, foreign and domestic, who compose themselves to destroy the conservatives in this country. It literally was the manifesto of extreme polarization, extreme views, and described the anti-utopian world in which these people clearly inhabit. Have everybody forgotten about that? I'm wondering, what do people expect from the second term of Donald Trump? Is it going to be better in any way to his second term? No, it will be much worse. Truly sad, extremely sad. I saw some statistics, how people voted, and it comes as no surprise, probably, to you, that white men and white women voted overwhelmingly for Trump. Overwhelmingly. And I want to ask these white women in particular, what were you thinking? Literally voting against your own abortion rights? Against your own control of your body? I had a conversation with a licensed social worker on LinkedIn on the day of the election, where I just asked, who do we think is gonna win? And she wrote me, Trump 2024, which is of course not just the statement who we think is gonna win, but a statement in support of Trump. I asked her how basically her role of social worker was agreeing with the support of Trump, because the forced pregnancy it's a torture. State demanded pregnancy. Why should the state decide such intimate matters as to whether or not to have an abortion? How can you really be a social worker if you are voting for Trump, who is clearly running against everything that we valued? He ran on the xenophobic and anti-immigration platform. And I know some people voted for Trump on the basis of economic ideas and prosperity and tax cuts. Well, these taxes are going to be cut, and it will be okay for maybe 2 years, and then it all will come tumbling down because Trump is going to amass the national debt again, wouldn't he? What can you really expect from this person? I'm not even talking about his very questionable statements on the Russo-Ukrainian war and him repeating that he was friends with Putin, even though Putin is an internationally wanted criminal, wanted for the mass abduction of Ukrainian children. But I said this video is going to be a video of solidarity. It's going to be not an accusation. It's going to be the stretched hand, I want to highlight that this kind of events are going to require from you to find your community, to stick with it, to find people who think like you and to get comfortable with them and to support each other. I think now it's incredibly important, more important than before. I also don't think that this is just 4 years ahead of us. I think it's much longer. Donald Trump has been solidifying power around him ever since 2000, I don't know, 14 or whatever that was the year when he decided to get to go this route. And definitely it's not just for the next 4 years. There are laws right now that preclude holding anybody from holding more than two terms. But what are laws to Donald Trump? Has he ever tried to abide by any laws? He has the presidential immunity right now granted to him by the Supreme Court. He's going to be completely unhinged in whatever it is that he wants to enact. He's definitely not coming just for 4 years. He's going to be in power for about as long as you could imagine, as long as he is alive. And after he is not alive, there will be people stepping into his shoes. You know, there are tons of people who would want the same for themselves, indefinite like term and unlimited power. He has a lot of people around him like that. I'm coming from the background of Russia, and Russia is of course very different from the United States. There is no comparison. Russia didn't really have much history of the free election or the leaders who would change regularly. There was no principle of switching every 4 or 6 or whatever years that was upheld ever in Russia. Like all the leaders that came to power tended to stay in power for a very long time. And now the United States is in this position. You will not uproot Trump in 4 years. There's just no way. So that background that I have, it kind of taught us quite a bit how to survive during the autocracy. And not everybody wanted to survive. Some people wanted to change the state and immigrate and employed all sorts of individual trajectories of survival. And nevertheless, these trajectories of survival, they include, getting back into your private shell. They include living within your family, not paying much attention to what is going on, not forming any opinions of what is going on, or if forming, then sharing them only with trusted people, and basically retreating into this area of private life where you can still do a lot of work and it could still be useful, but there was this illusion, I guess, that it is possible to not just live in your family shell for me, that it was possible to speak your mind and kind of participate in all the unfolding discourses. And now I'm not so sure anymore. And I don't really agree with this idea that people who live under autocracies now have some sort of advantage and have the ability to tell people who used to live in a democratic society what to do. Because I would not want to tell people, let's retreat into our private lives. This is just a very defeatist, avoidant, kind of escapist position to take. But what else are we going to do? How are we going to form that community? What are we going to, how are we going to respond to this tremendous threat of the threat that materialized? Trump, who came to power. How are we going to end it? I don't know. You tell me. Well, I wanted to share with you my impressions from Donald Trump coming to power. I'm sorry it happened. I really am. My condolences. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be quick to be resolved. And I hope you will still find pockets of joy in all of that is about to unfold. Bye-bye.